You mentioned Barry Town earlier. They asked, Stand Up for Barry Town asked, when TNS changed their name from Total Network Solutions to the New Saints, were there any other names considered?
There were many names that were thrown in. Some were piss takes, others were semi-serious. We even had a serious offer, quite a considerable amount of money, for a name change to what was then a casino company. And on hindsight, we chose not to go down that road. The name was, which were bandied around, were, say bandied, there was many ideas from two New Saints, which meant St Oswald of Oswestry, St Fried of Lansant Fried, which the New Saints, along with many more. But ultimately, a short list was brought up, and I think out of the 2 or 3 names, the fans who were invited to vote which they liked the best. And ultimately, the New Saints was born. That's, so there were many names, but the New Saints was the one which the fans took. And it is the New Saints of Lansant Fried and Oswestry Town. In its first guise, another vote by the fans 18 months into the move to Oswestry was for a greater inclusion of Oswestry Town, so hence the name, the New Saints of Oswestry Town and Lansant Fried, where the name of Lansant Fried and Oswestry Town is still portrayed within the fabric of the shirts, within the badge. Their histories are still very proudly kept and will be continued to update it. So that's where the name came from, that's how it was chosen, and that's, for the foreseeable future, is the name of the club, unless somebody else comes along and wants something. At the end of the day, it's down to the fans, the people who come through the gate, not the people who don't come through the gate. So the people who come through the gate will choose the direction of the club. If they want to go to be an amateur club, or they want to go into a different direction, hey, that's for them to choose, but I may not want to be around that organisation.
Sharon Marshall asked, how much community work are TNS currently involved in?
A lot. I wish I'd prepared a little bit better for that question, because I would have found many projects. But one of the key projects which was reviewed this week is the schools project. We've ring-fenced £20,000 for schools to participate in our community programme. That pot of money could grow to up to probably perhaps £100,000, depending on how the schools participate. But that's going to range from programmes such as healthy eating, coaching within the schools, not just football. I think we do hockey, netball, football, after-school clubs, and good living, hopefully inspiring young people to be active. It's not just about elite football, it's about getting kids to recognise that they have a duty of care to themselves, to get off their butts and do something. So it's very, very important, very near and dear to us, and that's obviously the whole heart of what our football club's about. I mean, Oswestry Town as a football club had a number of years of dormant trading. Yeah, when they left Victoria Road, they built houses on there was no football. From probably 86 to 2000, there was no club, or it was playing in parks football. So those wilderness years has probably lost a momentum of young people that then, as they've gone into adult life, have laid their affections with other clubs, such as Wrexham or Shrewsbury or Liverpool or Manchester United. So we have to start that work again. And what is really, really good, we're starting to see now the benefits of that work that was done 6 or 7 years ago. Young lads now of 15 and 16 are regularly coming through the gate. We wouldn't have had that 10 years ago. We were an old man's club, or people who perhaps had fallen out of love with the English Premier League, either because it had too much travelling, too expensive, couldn't go with their friend, or just general, didn't really like the way that they had to travel so far away. So we've continued to encourage our senior supporters, but we've also now hopefully bringing the next generation of senior supporters, so when I'm long gone, and that we've still got a trail of people from all generations supporting football within this community.
Next question, Jacupo Girardan asked, what has been your favourite moment in Europe with TNS? So maybe your favourite tie?
Probably not allowed to speak of all my favourite moments, but because I've had many. I've always enjoyed meeting the people from the away club. I've gone to places which you wouldn't really have gone to without the football being the catalyst to take me there. But by going there once, sometimes I've gone back for a second or third time because I've had such a good time, or met such lovely people. And we were fortunate enough to go to Estonia in 2000, and I've been back to Estonia probably 3 times since, and that place has changed a lot. I've got to say, the Estonia I found in 2000 was a magical place. It had only just come out of Soviet Union control. It was still very, their culture had not been affected by Starbucks or McDonald's, or it was still very much their own food chain. There was no, so it hadn't been commercialised by the Western world. So I saw that for what it was. It was a lovely environment. It was welcoming, friendly. I think the different hospitalities that we've had, which have all been excellent. Every club we've ever visited anywhere in Europe have always been so welcoming. The people have been so friendly. The officials of the club have always been helpful and inquisitive and want to know how do you run, and ideas are shared. So they range from Liverpool and Manchester City, which are probably on paper seen as your biggest games, to playing in the remote areas of Finland, which brings a different level of European experience. But say that we've had some very, very good times.
Kaz Burney asked, how important is youth development at the club, and is it a big investment?
Massive investment and extremely important. We've been running our academy programme since probably about 2000. We were probably the first club to get involved with an educational provider, and that educational provider has become more of a partner, and over the last 5 or 6 years we now have 40-50 students who are there for their educational provision and with the aim to be a professional footballer. We hope that we provide the catalyst for young people who may have dropped out of the educational system, so we give them the catalyst to go back and learn something. We also hope that the ones who are also academically gifted can also pursue their football career without sacrificing their education, because football is one of those games which, I'm afraid to say, natural wastage is very high. It's probably the highest wastage of employment there is. Out of every 100 kids, less than 1 in 100 make it. So that's what they're challenging for. But we also need to make sure that they have their education, so that if they don't make it as a footballer, they can make it in another walk of life. And if you look at our squad of 20-22 players, is football director, head of youth, Scott Ruscoe, Stephen Evans. They inspire the young guys, and if you look then into the squad, Scott Quigley and several others are all on first year contracts, second year pro contracts, and they've all come through our academy system, and we're going to continue to keep that momentum going. And over the next 2 to 3 years, more and more of those young guys at 14, 15, 16, as they come 18, 19, 20, will hopefully be good enough to get into our first team squad.
Finally, Gary Dewhurst asked, you have dominated Welsh football for X amount of years. Do you put this down to being a professional club?
The club was successful before being full-time. The club was successful prior to my involvement. And if we go back to just the Lance and Fried part of our club, they'd won the Welsh Cup. They'd come from amateur league football in 1957. They're now part of a club which is the most successful club ever within Wales. Oswestry Town, formed, I believe, 1866, have been a successful club by winning the Welsh League Cup. I think the Welsh Cup back in the day, I think around the turn of 1900s, they've been successful at a national level. I think Wales selected 9 of their first starting 11, all played for Oswestry Town in the first international game between England and Wales, back in whatever was the day. There's been players that have been of note from Oswestry. The club is of note from Oswestry, and football has had a long, proud tradition in Oswestry. So again, relighting the football within the town has been very, very important. The success is based on a lot of hard work on and off the pitch. And I think that probably the off-pitch work is probably very regularly overlooked. There are some very, very good people running the leisure and facility who produce revenue that can be used for wages for players. We have a great management structure, the likes of Ian and Helen, who all provide a level of support around the football club. So being full-time is a help. You can be professional without being full-time. Having a plan, working hard off the field to provide what you need for your on-field performance. Every club has that ability. They can go and approach their local community, and if it's no club will survive with what comes through the gate. No club in this league has enough supporters going through the turnstile to fund the team that they would like to see. That also doesn't happen at Manchester United. The money that comes through any football turnstile does not fund the team to play at the level you want it to play. It relies on secondary financial income, whether that's shirt sponsorship, whether that's TV rights, whether that's board sales, whether that's life presidents. So every football club has in its armoury its first priority to get its off-field management right. And those people are required to find the money to allow that football club to achieve the level of success that they deem is right for their club. How they then manage their manager and how they inspire that manager to make his players, well, that's their bad. But every club has got the same opportunity. I'm more than happy to share that with you. I can tell now, a club of our size, it requires you to be able to, you require £500,000 per year to do it. That allows you to then have a full-time team, training full-time, but it also means that you can also do all the other things that you should do as a football club. We talked about youth before. We provide an absolutely brilliant youth package. We have great facilities. You have a pitch that can be used day in, day out, day in, day out. So that is the bit which gives us the edge. And I think perhaps it's come to find that other clubs now are cottoning on to the fact that having a pitch that you can use 7 days a week is perhaps a way forward for them. I can't give them it's their magic formula. They have to look at the dynamics of where they are and how do they get those people that come there to hire the pitch, because you won't also do it just on pitch hire. Pitch hire isn't going to provide you enough income just to run a football club. But pitch hire in association with what else you can sell them and how long you can keep them to stay around the club, spending their money either at the bar, at the food, on food, or other activities that go on, or becoming members of your club, or using your gym, or whatever, that allows you to raise that £500,000 that you need to run a successful full-time football club. If you don't raise the £500,000, you could probably run a very successful football club, about £220,000 a year, where you would still expect to be competing for top honours. The gap between first and second is very minimal.